Okay, I got Michael Bealsey highlights on the TV behind me, and because I'm going to tell a story, is that I just saw Michael Bealsey here in Manhattan at the Hy-Vee Gas, and I fanboyed really hard about it. Many of you might know that my degree is in journalism, and I spent most of my career, early career, as a sports writer, covering like K-State basketball and football. Two different stints of it. One was like '03 through '08, and '08 would have been the year I think Bealsey came to K-State, so I covered his recruitment. And I never actually had met him in person. I talked to him on the phone 5 or 6 times. Then I moved to Nashville to work for Rivals.com instead of being in Manhattan that particular year. And so when I saw him today, initially I just told him that I appreciated his effort in the TBT in the tournament, and he said, politely, he said thank you. And then I walked back by me later because I was in there for a minute, and so was he apparently. And I told him, I said, hey, I've actually talked to you a number of times, And I said, the first time I called you, your voicemail said, this is Mike Bealsey. If you don't know me, you don't call me. And he started laughing, and he said, oh, I was such an a-hole as a kid. And I said, no, you weren't. And he wasn't. He was always polite even then. And his message then I thought was totally appropriate, like if you don't know him, don't bother him. But he was nice back then. And what I told him, and it's ironic that I got a chance to tell him this, because I talked to him in the shop here the last few days just because of the TBT and how he'd been playing and stuff. And what I had told people was that the thing about Michael Bealsey is you never hear someone tell a story about him being a bad dude. And you don't. Like, his opponents love him. Like, you watch these videos on YouTube, everyone, speaks very highly of the kind of human he always has been. And that, sure matters. And I told him that today, and I think, he said some nice stuff when I said that. And then I left him alone, and then I thought again, oh man, I got to take a picture, because, I am a fanboy of him and that kind of stuff. And he was, the number 2 pick in the draft back in the day, in the Derrick Rose draft. When I worked at Rivals, my friends all told me he should have gone first. But anyway, so I took a picture with him, and it's the thumbnail of this video. And I don't know that he's going to see this, but if he does, thank you for being exactly the kind of person I described you as always being today when I met you in person, actually, for the first time. And yeah, saw Michael Bealsey today.